Hello out there. We're pretty hungover, but we're on the air. We'd like to welcome all of our guests from this beautiful country of ours. All I said before the show is I just want to make sure that my words come out properly, and I've already failed with that 10 seconds into the show. So let's have a good show tonight, boys. Drummy, get your voice ready, get yourself ready. We'll be back in exactly 30 seconds.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I'm joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. The boys are a little hung, but we'll send it up north, see how things are holding up with our boy Reg. Reggie, you're up, you're awake, eyes are open. How you feeling?
Doing very good.
What?
Did that countdown freeze for you guys too, or no? I don't even have my mic plugged in, so that's where I'm at right now.
Struggle.
Yeah, no, things are good. I been sleeping most of the day today. It was I hosted the after party after the Kings tournament last night, so you can imagine how many people wanted to go home early. Not very many, so
all of them
can't go to bed while people are still here. So that's where I'm at. It was a good day yesterday, though. A lot of fun, worth it.
Nice. What time was everybody out of the house?
You can ask the guy up in the top corner. I actually
5 a.m.
downstairs in my house, and they left. So I'm not really sure what time they left.
I'm not sure either, to be honest with you.
One of those ones.
It was pretty late. It was a long day. It was almost a 24-hour shift.
Oof, that's a good one. All right, we'll get it over to Rossman, see how you're holding up, Jor. How's things out there?
I'm not well. I'm unwell. I'm not cut out to stay up late. It was a lot of fun, though. Sorry, I'm just posting this on Instagram. I don't even know if I did that properly. Anyways, no, it was good. It was a really good day. It was almost a 24-hour shift yesterday. Got up at about 6 a.m. here at Rossman yesterday. Drove to Gilbert. Spent the day there. We played in the par 3 tournament. And for those who might not be as familiar as us with the par 3 tournament, it's an event that the Dauphin Kings put on every year. And so they convert every hole into a par 3. They're between, I'd say, 140, 180 yards. And you play every hole is a par 3. And I think there was a whole bunch of different prizes at one point, but I think it's all pretty much like 10K per hole now, Reggie. Is that still?
Yeah, I think it's kind of prizes that equal 10K,
yeah. Drums asked if we won any prizes. I said, I don't know. We weren't there for the prizes. We were still golfing. So we had a full day of golf, lots of beers, lots of shots, lots of everything, and made for one heck of a hangover today. So
looks like my front door opened at 4:41. So
no, I'm pretty sure it was before. I don't know.
Pretty sure that was it.
So yeah, it was a late one, but a good day, really good day. We played with Dad. We played with Reese Gaber, and Reggie showed up for the last 8 holes. And we didn't do too well. I think we shot even par. It was kind of a battle out there. But we were hitting it well. We had a lot of fun. We get to play with Stocks and Mertz. Who else was there? Tej and Willie Budzinski. So it's nice.
Beauty.
What's going on in Brandon, Drummy? How's things there? Did you golf on Thursday? I didn't make it in.
I did. Well, you could call it golf. The wind was howling, as it has been pretty well for the past month. So she was a little blistery out there. Same old shit with the golf game, man. If I can get off the tee, I score well. If I can't get off the tee, give me the triple. I'm out of here and run. But I played today with Dad and Luca. We went out to Glenlee and played good. So I don't know what's going on. We'll keep at it and figure it out hopefully here. Glenlee's looking really decent shape out there.
Is it?
Yeah, a lot of their greens are in phenomenal shape. Maybe just It sounded like they were letting them grow out, and they're growing awesome. So I'm thinking in a couple of weeks, once they cut them down and get them rolling, they'll be in really good shape out there. But yeah, Weed City, man, it's a tough course in that wind. It's crazy how
it
different
really
that
is.
course plays
Is it the
in
same
that
wind?
type of wind. Yeah, like it was. I don't think we got up to the 80K gusts that it was calling for it, but like definitely 60,
Yeah.
65K. So
From the
yeah, it was
west?
crazy, absolutely nuts. Yeah, yeah. I got a quick one to throw your guys' way here,
Sure.
because I don't know how this should or should not have been played, or what you do in this situation. So we were teeing off on 8, and the wind from the west, so it's just crosswind on 8 basically. So Farnsey hits, and the wind absolutely massacres his ball, and so he's over on 12 fairway.
Mm-hmm.
We bomb over to 12. He looks at his ball, hits his ball. We pass Patch and Cody on the way by, and just like, hey, how's it going? Quick head nod. We fly by. Then we get up to the tee box on 9, and I looked at my phone and had a message from Patch, and it was just, Farns, are you hitting a Kirkland? And we just looked at each other. Oh shit! So Farns hit the wrong ball. One was using a 3, the other was using a 4. So Farns hits the wrong ball, but we don't realize till after the hole's over. What do you do in that situation?
Was he part of the hole?
Yeah. No, we tied, actually.
But was he the tire?
No. Well, like me and him tied. So it didn't matter, I guess, technically for the hole.
I mean, you just tell the other guys, and if you're playing dickheads, they say you're out of the hole, and
Yeah.
if you're playing good guys, they say who cares.
What does Patch say in that situation? Like I'm
Yeah, I don't know.
He would be the same. I mean, it's just like I think if it was an actual tournament, I think there'd be some issues there. But I'm also like in a match, you'd have to just let it's pretty much whatever your opponents want to do. You run it by them. If they're good with it, then you proceed. If not, if they're going to be dicks, as Reggie said, then call them on it. But I think it's an honest mistake, and I don't think our league is serious enough for anybody to really enforce that type of thing. So I think that.
I found it just hilarious because it's probably happened like 100 times in my life, but you've never gotten the confirmation. Yeah, never gotten the confirmation via text from the guy 5 minutes later.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So usually at this point of the show, we do an intro and a cheers. This is the first show we haven't had a cheers. We're kind of tired of cheersing to Scotty. Also, this is the first ever Kngdom episode after 173 episodes that I haven't had a drink. This is just water today.
Struggling with the water.
The first show ever I didn't have a beer or a Caesar or something like that. I really wanted to have a Caesar, but we don't have any clam here, so I just went with water. So I don't feel too bad we don't have a cheers, because it's actually illegal to make a cheers when you don't have a liquor drink. So unless you guys got anything to cheers in the next 2 minutes or 2 seconds, we're going to keep things rolling here.
I mean, outside of Scotty, I don't have anybody in
I kind of have a small cheers. Like, I was thinking about it on Thursday, I guess. I was looking at the tournament, and it's an elevated event, so there's only 70 guys in the tournament. And there's 5 Canadians. Like, that's pretty crazy. If you told someone that 10 years ago that would be a thing right now, Wild obviously Hadwin finished 3rd. Couldn't quite get it going on the back 9, but yeah, crazy. Like 5 Canadians. Like, that's the top 70 players on tour.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
That's absolutely insane.
I do wish that Graham DeLate didn't go through the injury stuff that he did, and just to see him kind of in that bunch too would have been awesome. Yeah. He's kind of the most local guy we have close to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It would have been awesome to have him part of this too. But he was kind of the wave that brought them in too, so hats off to him too.
Mm-hmm. Dad and I were talking about it on the way back from Dauphin today, and I said, like, It seems like every week there's a different Canadian in the hunt for a tournament. And less than 4 years ago, like there was a lot of weeks and months where there was hardly a Canadian really even close to anything in an event. Like, never mind, every week there's a Canadian, whether it's Hadwin, Connors, Svensson's been up there,
Taylor.
Dick Nick. It seems like every weekend there's a Canadian that's like has in the hunt on Sunday.
Mac Hughes was last week.
Like, I'm pretty sure even if we look back at our Mac Hughes, last week, if we look back at our first couple episodes here, like it was a really big deal when a Canadian was like in the hunt for something, like to win an event.
Even
like it was
top 5, man.
Yeah, like it was a really big deal. Now it just seems like it's every weekend.
And not long before that, it was like there's 2 Canadians playing in the event.
Yeah.
Never mind just performing well.
Unbelievable, man. Pretty sick.
Tracking, baby.
Cheers to Canada.
There we go.
That was illegal.
Any other Scotty, though?
What's that?
How old Scotty? Wow.
Yeah, let's start with that. Did you guys watch the end of it today?
Yeah.
Well,
in and out of snoozing, but I watched most of it.
I think I watched pretty much the back 9 of it today.
Yeah. That putt that Scotty made on 16 was sick. That's just what he does, like down the stretch. He hits a terrible first putt and then just bangs a 20-footer.
Was that a putt that he hit first or a chip?
He putted from off the green.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it was like a 20-footer for a 2-putt, hey? Or for par.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin missed.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
And then wasn't it? He triple bogeyed yesterday, and that was he only had one other double bogey or worse in like 52 rounds, like something just sickening.
Could you imagine?
Just gross.
I think last week
give me one round.
I made like 6 doubles in one round.
Yeah, give me one round like that.
It's pretty impressive. Like, do you guys think it's Scotty like being that good right now, or I was thinking about this today too. Is he that good, or is it just like, I don't know? Is that say something about the PGA right now?
I think he's that good.
I think he's that good too.
So I think he's had this argument before, and
I got jumped on where we like to do the Tiger comparison, where I think like the field is a lot stronger today than it was in 2001.
Yeah. You did get jumped on.
Yeah, but like what he's doing right now is nuts. And think about like
hilarious.
Like he's got how many wins now? Is it 11?
Okay, I thought it was 5 and 8. That's what I thought they said, which is
so he has. He's the fastest to 5 wins in a calendar year since 1970. Sorry, he's the third fastest. So first is Johnny Miller, 74, and that was April 28th. That's absolutely nuts. Tom Watson, 1980, was May 11th. Scotty this year, June 9th. And then Tiger in 2000 was June 18th.
Really?
So he beat Tiger by 10 days, yeah.
Wow. And like, I mean, he's got to be the hands-on favorite for the U.S. Open as well.
Everything, yeah.
And it's not like he's winning scumbag tournaments either. Like, these are some big events that he's winning right now.
The other one that I saw was Scotty has either won a golf tournament, produced a child, or been arrested for felonious assault of a police officer in 7 of the last 12 weeks. Okay, well, actually, let's kick into it here around the greens, and I've got some other crazy ones here too. So Scotty currently has more worldwide wins since January 2022 than Patrick Reed, Adam Scott, Cam Young, Terrell Hatton, Justin Rose, Ricky Fowler, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Will Zalatoris, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Bryson, and Hideki combined. So in 2.5 years, he has
Jesus.
more wins than all those guys combined. That's including the live events.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder who would be second in there right now.
I would assume Rombo.
Brooks
Yeah,
or Rombo,
probably
yeah,
Rombo. I was going to say Rombo or Brooks. Or who's won a couple of those live events? Gooch? Spot between the...
Gooch has won 3, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty has lost to 9 golfers total across 8 tournaments since March 1st.
Yeah, here's the thing too. It's like for the last decade or so, we've heard like Rory, Colin Morikawa, Tom Kim, all these different people like being compared to Tiger. Like, are they going to be the next Tiger Woods? And I feel like Scotty's the first person who's actually like worthy of having that conversation right now. Not that anybody will ever, nobody will ever do what Tiger did to golf, and in terms of like the crowds and his popularity and just like his aura. But like in terms of winning events and pure domination, like I think Scotty would obviously be the only person, and he was never really talked about in that light by the golf media.
Yeah, he kind of came out of nowhere. Like not out of nowhere, but he just all of a sudden won like 3 tournaments in a row into like 2022,
and then just went nuts.
And then went through an absolute coldie on putting. And if he could have putt through those times, man, he'd have like
5 more
30
wins
wins right now. Yeah. He was, yeah. His ball striking is disgusting.
He just doesn't miss anything really. If he does, it's by like an inch or two.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
And big part of me loves that he does it like with the swing he has. Like just to prove like what golf is, right? Like, yes, Rory's the machine with the phenomenal swing, but this guy dummies him.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, that's what golf's all about. Swing your swing.
Actually, funny to that, Farnsey was up in Dauphin last week with you guys, Reg, playing the Gary Brandon. So he played with he played with Schulte one of the rounds.
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you know that guy?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, unreal swing, right?" And Farns is like, "That's the first time I've ever actually seen it." So anybody that doesn't know, I don't even know how you explain this man's swing. It's unexplainable, but there's so much movement in it. Like it looks tiring every time he swings. But Farns is like, I don't know how he hits the ball. It's absolutely impressive.
And he can play.
Like pretty, like he's 4 or 5 handicap, I think.
Yeah.
This was a good one. If a PGA Tour played the last 8 events Scheffler has played, made the cut at all 8, and played them to the field average, they would be about +5 at the end of those 32 rounds. In that time, Scotty is -106.
Like, man, I don't know.
So the +5 is all the other scores combined?
No. So if you were just any PGA Tour player other than Scotty that played in those last 8 events, you made the cut as like the minimum, and then you just played to the average for the other 2 rounds each tournament, you would be +5 total. And he's up 106.
Yeah, like you hear stuff like that, and that's Tiger Woods-esque stats.
Like it doesn't sound believable.
Like it's just what he's doing right now is absolutely ridiculous. Like every tournament you look at, he's in the top 3.
Yeah,
with a chance to win on Sunday. He was still right there when he got arrested. He shot 66 that day, but 64 maybe.
Nuts.
Like I don't know.
Speaking of Hadwin, picks up his largest paycheck today with the 3rd place finish. So 1.4 million. That's 260 grand more than he got for his win at the 17 Valspar. So not a bad day at the office for a 3rd place finish.
Wait, that's the only time Hadwin's won is in 2017?
That would make sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Huh. I didn't know that.
And that punched his ticket to the British Open too with that finish. So
yeah.
Oh, sweet.
in there.
He kind of struggled coming home today. Hey, had one. He made about 4 bogeys on the back nine, just couldn't really put her together. He was right in there too, especially when those guys came back a few.
Yeah. Yeah, if he was at 7, if he would have parred that one hole, 16, that par 3, when he's in the trap, I mean, he's probably only beat one back at that point. Tied with Morikawa at that point. And yeah, and even Connors was right there on Friday. They were both tied for the lead.
Really?
Connors, yeah. Connors shot 44 on the back, I think, or 43 on the back nine that
yesterday.
Friday.
So
he was tied for the lead, and then he shot 43, and then he's like right out of it.
That's golf.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this one on the LPGA today? Leanna Storm, amazing name.
Great name.
Going into today, teed off, she sat at tied for 52nd place. She finished the round shooting 60 for the come from behind victory by one shot.
60.
Have a day, lady.
Damn. Leanne Storm?
Yeah.
Great name. Great round.
Oh, did you guys see that interview? I don't know if it was the Golf Channel or what it was, but it was the Pro-Am this week. And you know how they do like the walking interviews nowadays? So they grabbed one of the celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
Or who they thought was a celebrity. So the interviewer thought she was interviewing Vince Young, the quarterback, and turns out it was definitely not Vince Young. And just turned out he was like some random football coach. He might have been like a university coach or something like that. But so the girl's like asking him, "You're Vince Young. You had all these accomplishments in university. How does it compare coming to the golf course from a team sport?" And the guy's just like, "Yeah, I apologize. You've got the wrong person." And she just holds the mic in his face still.
She was so more comfortable to watch.
So bad.
But what do you say there? Like, I mean, you could tell she was just like so shocked that she literally was speechless and didn't know how to proceed from there. But
so good. I love it.
That's a very tough look.
Where was that at?
That happen?
Looks nuts. What's that, Reg?
Where was that?
The Pro-Am for this week. So like Wednesday or whatever. Yeah.
It's worth a watch. It's like a minute video, but it's worth a watch. Just look up like Vince Young clip or interview.
And like
Vince Young.
The guy does like a good job.
He did.
Keeping it together for her.
Yeah.
And then this is a good one. In Japan, it is custom to hold insurance policies for when you get a hole in one. Goes a little bit further than we do, as opposed to buying the course around, essentially. But you actually have to buy everybody in your life a present. So there's guys that get
wild
insurance policies for like 50, 60K for whenever they get a hole in one, so that they can give everybody in their life some sort of gift.
Well, okay, so you get a hole in one, you're happy, you're pumped, but then that reality sinks, and then you now have to spend the next 2 or 3 months of your life figuring out a present. Like, what would you do there? Would you just buy like a standardized gift for everybody, or do you personalize it for each person? How do you know who's in your life? How do they classify like knowing somebody in your life? I feel like there's a lot of questions there.
There's so many questions. Like, I don't know 50 people that I would care to give a gift to.
No, but do you know them, or you're like family or friends with them?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like get that deep into it, but I guess like if it's just family, do you just give people cash? Like, here's $1,000.
I'd bulk order, I think.
You what?
Hey?
I'd bulk order something with like, I think I'd get a picture of me giving a thumbs up beside the hole. Give everybody a t-shirt.
A painting?
Then just take the cash.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy though. Those insurance companies must do pretty well with that, because like, what's the average golfer? How many hole-in-ones would be made in a, like, how many golfers have a hole in one? What's the ratio there? I feel like it'd be fairly low.
Yeah, like even if like just as a low number, let's say there's 10 million golfers in the world. How many hole in ones, or how many of those have hole in ones?
Not very many.
I would
Like
guess
100,000.
maybe I was going to say 100,000, but it's probably higher than that.
But yeah. But I think that the ratio on that is probably right.
What if it's like your first round of golf and you don't really know that, and you hit an ace, and you
Cost
go
you
into
50K.
Like, I wonder how would they enforce that, or that's just like a social.
I think it's just like the social rules.
Right
like,
way to do
are
it.
the police showing up at your house because you didn't give out gifts? Like, what happens there?
Reggie, you
over
should
there,
start offering that at Aspen. I feel like that'd be a good thing to do for golfers. Like $5 or $2 a month, you get into your ace pot, and you only get paid out like $5,000, but you still you can actually buy everybody on the golf course a drink. I feel like that'd be a good idea, actually. Or like courses add it to your membership or something like that. Like, it's instead of $400, it's like $410, and you buy an insurance policy through that. And then if you get a hole in one, you get $5,000. I think there's something there.
There's a hole in one pot at both men's nights at Gilbert.
Is there?
It's put on by the men's club has the money for it. So you get, I think it's like $2,500. You get a hole in one or something, or $5,000. No, that might be too much. Might be 500 or $1,000, which is still a lot.
Same here. Same as at Rossman here. They got the same thing. McKell got a hole in one on hole 7. I don't know if you've played Rossman or not, but like hole 7 is a very, very difficult hole. Like 200 yards, you got to hit it over top of trees, like big trees. Impossible for women, but even for men, it's a very tough hole. McKell got a hole in one there last summer, I think it was, and the pot, once it hits 2,500, I think they start a new one. But a couple people got hole in ones on hole 3 right before that, so he ended up only getting like $600 or $700 for his actual hole in one. But the guys who hit a hole in one on the 60-yarder got 2,500 each. So, nothing too thrilled about that. Poor timing.
Yeah, he wouldn't be happy about that.
But he said they should just do like a separate pot for that, or it should be like maybe one per
hole.
Yeah, like a different pot for the third hole there. But
yeah.
And then the last thing I had written down here, did you guys see the I guess it's a commercial or a trailer for the unnamed NHL series?
Yeah.
The behind the scenes, like the Drive to Survive types thing. It looks unreal. And they got like some decent sized names that are going to be showcased in it. And
Willie,
Willie, yeah. Like they're following like everything. So practices at home, everything. So it looks like it might be a little more in depth than what was the
24/7,
24/7, 30 for 30, or I was going to say 30 for 30, but yeah. Pumped for that one. I think that one's on Prime, but I don't think it starts until September or something like that one.
24/7 was like such a good show.
Unreal.
Like such a good show. Like the first couple seasons of 24/7, like that was one of the best shows I've ever seen outside of like a comedy or whatever, but like an actual documentary. Like that was so well done. Hockey is the most interesting sport, I think, to follow. Even for guys who like grew up with it and know kind of what goes on there, I think it's still cool. And for the average person who wouldn't have kind of gone that road in life, I think that's just very entertaining. I think that hockey's there's a lot more there than like a PGA event, which is kind of dry, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah. And like remember Brucey Boudreau's rant? Fuck this and fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Still legendary.
That was all Winter Classic stuff, right? It was all lead up to the Winter Classic.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually, speaking of that, there's some good hot mics that I was watching the Jays game. Oh my God, I was dying. I don't know how they let it happen on TV, actually. So what happened was they don't have like fences in front of the dugouts like in Oakland. Like it's just a shitty stadium. It was the last time the Jays were playing there, actually. And the guy was running over to first base, like past first base to make the catch. And like all the Blue Jays, like extra pitchers were sitting there or standing outside the dugout because there's nowhere for them to sit. And so Kikuchi tried to run away to get out of the guy's way, and he just absolutely blew him over. Like they got into a big collision, like mid-play. I've never seen it before. I don't know if it's ever happened before. And so they were yelling at each other. Oh my God, the F-bombs that they were chirping that pitcher.
And it was on
You
TV.
can throw the ball like you're fucking chirping Adams, you fucking pussy. Like, it was wild, man. Like they're just ripping them, and you could just hear everything on TV, and they weren't censoring anything. It was hilarious. Man.
Did the guy get a 5-game suspe for saying the word pussy?
Well, probably.
That isn't that crazy?
The OHL he would.
Oh
yeah, that's insane.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. The kid that got called a pussy, like, ratted him out to the league.
Yeah, and the guy that got called a pussy told him that he was going to kill him, but he didn't get suspended for that. He said, "I'm going to kill you." He said, "You wouldn't because you're a pussy." And you got 5 games.
No, that's how. Yeah, that's a perfect representation of the world right now. That exchange.
Yeah.
But that's like that. I feel like the chirping and stuff like that. Like that's the best part about hockey is the chirps back and forth.
Oh yeah.
It's not like that in any other sport. I don't think. Not as aggressively as hockey is to those guys.
Just like greasy guys. Oh,
could you imagine if golf was like that? Nice shot, you pussy.
I'm actually honestly surprised that there hasn't been like some sort of tour, almost like the Live, except more of just like a lot less skill, but like you can chirp each other and you can do stuff like that, like the opposite of like what golf's all about. Somebody doing that, I think that would actually be pretty entertaining to watch. Mm-hmm. I actually think that that's why the YouTube stuff has kind of taken off like it has, because you see that kind of stuff and there's more of that. As opposed to just golf shots, there's like interactions between each other and chirping each other, and people like that.
I just thought when you said the internet stuff, like we should have done a toast to Bob.
Oh yeah,
that's all in one.
Wow.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Bob does sports.
You got an ace?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
And they just went nuts.
That guy from Foreplay broke 90, and they were going absolutely bonkers for that too.
Oh yeah,
Big Trent.
I saw that.
Big Trent, yeah. That was pretty funny. I liked how Frankie was way more into it than Trent was. Frankie was like running around like crying.
When I don't know if it was like when Foreplay first started or kind of like when it became more popular, I always thought Frankie was like my least favorite on there. But when you watch more of it, I think he's just an absolute great human being and like beauty friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the start you kind of thought he was just faking being that nice and like that. But he actually is, I think.
Yeah. And then Riggs
he was running laps around that green when he hit that shot.
Yeah.
What's that, sorry?
I just said, and then Riggs is the actual wet blanket of the crew.
Yeah, he sucks. Sucks bad.
Speaking of wet blanket, we started rewatching The Office again, and I remember Michael called Pam a wet blanket very early in the show. Like the first season of The Office was absolutely so good. Like you never get away with putting that on TV anymore, and it's just like it's almost refreshing. It's hilarious. I'm looking forward to rewatching it for the 10th time. The Office. Okay, Drummy, is that the end of Around the Greens for tonight?
Yes, sir.
We've been watching Letterkenny. That show is very underrated.
So good.
Yeah, it actually is.
Oh my God, it's so stupid.
That's the same kind of humor though, just chirping each other. That's people like the chirps.
Yes.
Reggie, you got anything else to touch on for golf wise?
Not really. I was tracking the US Open qualifiers that we were talking about last week. It's kind of one of those things. It's actually super interesting that you don't realize how many guys that are in the US Open and tournaments like that. Would be the same for the British Open. I'm thinking, how many guys go through qualifying to get there? Like how many big names that you just assume are in the tournament?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was kind of cool to see all the big names in those.
I looked
And
at
a
the
couple big
Canada
names got through.
qualifier, and there was a lot of PGA guys in there, eh?
Tons.
Like Adam
tons.
Scott having to go to playoff holes to get in.
Yeah. Like cool stuff like that. Like that's interesting to me.
There should be some sort of documentaries about that kind of stuff. I feel like golf, just for golf fans, though, like not a Netflix version, like not for everybody to watch, but just for like golfers, kind of like Monday Q does, but like in the documentary format. Like I feel like that would be super interesting to follow.
Did you see that one guy? It said that, I don't know if you guys saw that video on the internet, that the guy had like a 3-footer to get in. And that drunk guy was like standing up on the fringe videoing him.
No.
You guys didn't see that? Guy just hammered standing up on the fringe. He's like leaning back and forth. And the guy misses the putt.
No.
Yeah.
Like because of the drunk guy?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it was because of him, but he probably didn't help anything being there. Anyways, I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, we're 36 in. I said tonight we're going to probably keep her a little bit tighter than usual. So let's get to the fixture divots here. I got a timeless tested and true again tonight to talk about. Reggie, do you got a stroke saver for tonight? No,
I don't have one for tonight.
No problem. So let's get to the fixture divots. Fixture divots, everybody knows by now, I'm sure, but we'll get into it anyways, is sponsored by the Prairie Scratch Tour, the premier golf tour here in Manitoba. I think they got an event coming up next week. I'm just going to double check here that I get this information right.
Grand Pines, I think, next week.
Is that what it is?
I think so. 2-man?
Better Ball, June 15th. Yes. So next weekend is Father's Day. It's the U.S. Open as well, right? It's always on Father's Day, right? You guys see Big Cat at Pinehurst today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good.
Playing with Slick Rick.
I just really want Tiger. I know that, some people would say that he's been a failure as of late. Some people would say that he's been a success. I mean, he's made some cuts against the best golfers in the world. I don't think you can take away anything from him, even though he's struggled a couple times, very visibly. But I just really want him to get in the mix again on Sunday, have a shot at it, and just prove all these dipshits wrong. That everybody's so quick to jump on Tiger when he has a couple bad rounds in a row, saying that it's time for him to retire. This is painful to watch. I think that if he shows up one weekend, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people because his game's still there.
Oh, definitely. But it's like, it's the same old thing. You just can't get the reps in to play. Everybody knows how good he is, but his body can't play enough to,
Yeah.
It's shitty because you watch him and he hits 6 shots. Like, he's still an unbelievable ball striker. He doesn't have the tournament, you know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't play enough to have that. He's not playing every week with these guys.
I love the U.S. Open. I'm really excited to watch it. Even watching the tournament today, I like tournaments like that where it's not just like cruising in and making birdies and eagles into like the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like hard holes. I want to watch these guys like struggle and grind. And you could see Colin on the 18th hole today, just like visibly almost shaking, like how much he was into that and how much was on the line there and how difficult the course is playing, like those last 5 holes. So U.S. Open is pretty much 72 holes of that, so I'm fired up to watch that.
There's only 7 guys under par today.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
It's nuts.
I prefer that, honestly.
Oh,
I like it though.
Anyways, back to the Prairie Scratch Tour. Speaking of great golf, that is next weekend. I think the registration is over for that now, but they're playing the Better Ball Championship at Grand Pines Golf Course. And then I think the next one is when? I'm just going to double check here. Grand Pines, and then Corey Oaks is in July. So they pretty much got one event per month. That's kind of the breakdown of the Prairie Scratch Tour. They got May, June, July, August, and September is the Tour Championship in Breezy Bend. So if you're interested, you want to compete, I think there's a couple of prerequisites. You have to be like a 5 or better, I think, handicap. But anyways, check them out, prairiescratchtour.ca, or go to their Instagram account, the Prairie Scratch Tour. And big thanks to them for being a sponsor of this little show to support the local golf and everything we got going on in this area here. So, Drummy, what is the fixture divots this evening?
This week's Fixture Divots comes from Chris Mearns. My apologies if I get that wrong, but it is blasting music so loud that other groups can hear it. I think we've kind of covered this before, probably not in a Fixture Divots, but 100%. Like have your tunes playing. Nobody's gonna fault you for that, but the moment you can hear it a whole way, you gotta sort your life out. Nobody wants to. Not everybody is in the live mode, so music's probably not appreciated for everybody at all times.
Yeah, I think it's just the core theme of all of these Fixture Divot segments is just like respect. That's it. That's all it is. If other people can hear your music, it's too loud. And honestly, like when me and Drake played Oak Island at the start of the month, I think it was, or end of May, whenever that was. But we didn't have music on, and we were kind of talking back and forth. I think that's one of the most underrated things in golf in this day and age, is just going out there without music on and just listening to the shots, listening to the birds, listening to like the nature. It's just such a peaceful environment. And I feel like there is a time and place for music. Like an example of that would be yesterday at the Kings Par 3 tournament, like when people are there to party. But at the same time, it's so nice, whether it's in the morning or at night, and just like being out there in quiet. I think there's something to that. And I think it's a lot of people just like need to have some music or something all the time. I think it's kind of unnecessary. I think the underrated part of that is just going out there without music and just enjoying the surroundings, the environment there.
Yeah. Me and Dad don't really ever listen to music on men's night. I did last week. That's probably the first time in a while.
Chezzy, how is Madge Lake Golf Resort looking this summer? I think this is obviously, what's that, Johnny?
Is Chezzy coming to the King's Cup?
I don't know. He isn't yet, but he's always a last minute addition. He has been for the last couple of years, so we might see Ches there. But I believe, if I talked to him a while ago, but I believe that Ches is running the course now as the GM of Madge Lake Golf Resort. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Ches might have to confirm that. But we definitely got to get out there. He sent a message a little while ago saying that their men's night is Wednesday nights at Madge Lake, and he wants us to get out there for a Wednesday this week, this year, which now that we don't do the podcast on Wednesday anymore, is a possibility.
Yeah, definitely a possibility.
Also a very underrated golf course, Madge Lake Golf Resort. Okay.
Yes.
There you go. Ches, manager, head professional of Madge Lake. That's awesome. We should have had a cheers for that one night for Chezzy.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things we knew about it, but we couldn't say anything because it wasn't really public yet. And the season started, and that was it.
Okay, so let's thanks to Chris there for the Fixture Divots. We all are unanimous, not anonymous. Unanimous.
Unanimous agreement.
And agreement with that. So let's end the show with this tonight. This is the timeless, tested, and true segment. That's the second version of this, second week in a row. I know that I'm not going to be able to do this every week because for obvious reasons, and in the wintertime, I probably will switch things up again. But for now, I'm really interested in looking at old golf tips, like timeless golf tips, and trying them out, changing them. If they work, I'm going to talk about them, and that's why this is called timeless, tested, and true. So they're not just hypothetical scenarios. They're actually things that I put into practice and that worked. So I did it this week. I found this video of one of our favorite guys, I think, of all time, Lee Trevino. I don't know if you guys watch this or not, but Lee's one of the greatest teachers, I think, are not very, very underappreciated in the game of golf.
Unreal, just talker.
He's a talker. So I'm not even going to really try to explain it. I'll kind of talk about how I implement it into my game after. But it's 5 minutes long, and it's worth every second of your time here. So let's listen and watch Lee Trevino.
You have to understand that your arms are only so long.
Do you guys hear it?
Arms only being so long.
Yep.
You have to understand that it's like these arms attached to the trunk of a tree. I'm the trunk. These arms are swinging, okay? Wherever that ball is, it influences the strike on this ball, whether it's solid or not. Chances are, if the ball is too far forward, the limbs on the trunk, because the trunk's not moving, the trunk is turning. So the limbs are actually coming up. You understand? They're coming up before they come in contact with this golf ball. And when they come up, they're hitting the ball low on the club. You're either hitting the ball left. Some good players are hitting the ball also to the left, but you tend to hit the ball lower also.
Because you're catching it thin. Because
you're catching it thin. So if you're on the driving range and practicing, the thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead. Don't change the swing. The biggest mistake that people make when they practice is they know exactly what they did wrong. Baloney. They don't have a clue of what the hell they did wrong. You understand? And what happens is, if you look at all these players, none of them swing alike, okay? But they've mastered their swing, and they have confidence in that swing. If you tried to change that player today, come back next week, he would revert back to the old way he played. You talk a certain way, you walk a certain way, and you swing a club a certain way. Now, there are things that you can change by taking the club back more outside, down the line, or inside. That you can change. You can also change the stance. You can be open or you can be closed. But these are things that you have to work on. But the secret to hitting the ball solid is, if you're not hitting it solid, keep moving the ball back. And don't aim at anything. The big thing about it is when people practice is they get mesmerized with a target. Don't do that. That's when this thing is wide open. It's just hit it. Once you get a pattern and you can hit this ball the same way every time, then we can go to aiming. But you've got to get a pattern. So if you get the ball too far forward, see, and the limbs come up, this is what happens to you. See, now the farther you move this ball back, now I'll move it back just a tiny bit, and with the same swing, okay, came up a little bit. But you can move this ball around. Also, as you get older, you want to move this foot back. And the reason for it is because you're trying to get inside.
Okay.
Most people go over the ball. They go over the ball because they're open and the right hip's in the way. And when they come down, now it's in the way even more. So the hands you don't have a chance to get inside. My thought when I hit a golf ball, I'm always trying to hit it at 7 o'clock. This golf ball is a clock. And there's noon, there's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
So slightly inside.
Exactly. So this is the clock. So you got 6 o'clock, you got 5 o'clock, you got 7 o'clock. So I'm trying to hit the ball on the inside. You understand?
Yeah.
Because your hands are going to be that far past the ball when you hit it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to manipulate whether, if you're going to cut it, you hold it. You don't rotate it. If you want to draw the ball, then you in other words, you rotate.
But you're still hitting it at 7 each
But
time.
you're hitting it at 7 o'clock. See, I'm coming from the inside here. See?
Nice little drill.
Yeah, see how that never changed. Now, if I wanted to hit this ball and kind of cut it, is I will do the same thing, but now I won't rotate it. See? And then you don't see, and then you don't rotate it. So this is exactly how you do this. But to hit it solid, you have to remember that your body is a trunk of a tree. This is the limbs. These limbs are only going to go so far before they either release, rotate, or open. Okay? And the ball will tell you what it's doing. The ball will tell you. If the ball's going too low and you're not hitting it solid, chances are 99% of the time it's too far forward. You need to move the ball back in your stance a little bit. And people don't move the ball back in their stance. It's simply because it makes them think that they're aiming way right at target. And that's what happens. See, you can aim at this target with the ball forward and it looks pretty good, right? But now if I get you here, now this club looks like it's aiming there.
Absolutely.
But you know what happens? It'll square up when you turn. You see what I'm saying?
It squares
When
up.
you turn, it closes up because the limbs have to come around the trunk.
Absolutely.
Do you understand?
Yeah, that's great advice, Lee.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's exactly what happened.
Do you know, like, was he just on the range and some guy came up to him and asked him? Like, that's what it kind of seems like, hey?
It's definitely filmed with a cell phone.
Yeah. Unreal.
So
He's such a
couple things
beauty.
there. The first thing I want to mention is that I'm gonna put the link to this video. I'm gonna put it in the description right after this video. So I would say, like, there's so much there. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times now, and there's still things that I catch up or pick up on every time I watch it. There's lots of really good advice in there. But I really like that he said that you always revert back to your old swing, and I think that that's very true. Like, very true for every golfer out there. Is unless you have like 5 hours a day to commit to changing your golf swing, regardless if you go to the range this week and do it, you're probably the next week or the week after, you're going to just be doing the exact same thing. It always reverts back. And I like that he said, don't aim anything. I always get really guilty, or I'm guilty of that at the range. I get so focused on targets, and if I miss them, then I start making tweaks. And I think you should just be more focused on actually the ball striking itself. And then he said, get into a pattern, and then you can aim it. But also the other thing was a cut and the draw. Like, I feel like every time I want to hit a cut or a draw, I kind of like I change way too much. And he said that if you want to cut it, you just hold your hands through impact, and if you want to draw it, you just roll them over at impact without changing anything else. And I feel like as the average golfer, I think if they just spend a couple hours at the range, just like playing around with this kind of stuff and tweaking things and watching, he said, just watch the ball. The ball will tell you what you're doing there. I think that's like solid advice for anybody. So anyways, I implemented this week, and I've been hitting the ball very poorly lately, like my irons, but I had the ball way too far out in front of my stance, like, because I've been trying to fade it more than draw it. And so I was trying to force that with the placement of the ball. And it was just kind of going everywhere because you're all out of sync that way. So what I did was I moved it back, and I spent some time, and I figured out that the 7-iron for me to hit it pure is right in the middle. And then so I use the 7-iron as like the middle point. 6 is a little bit ahead of that. 5 is a little more ahead of that. 8's a little bit behind that one, be back in my stance, because your hands you get more power, and your hands are ahead of the ball at impact. And I really did notice. And yesterday at the Kngdom, I think I hit half the greens. I was thinking about it today, which is very uncommon for me. Usually at that event, I hit like 3 or 4 greens out of 18. It sounds a lot easier than it is, but yesterday I think I hit half the greens just by moving the ball back an inch in my stance.
I also really liked the at the range, don't pick a target. That's something I am guilty of as well, like you said. And I went to the range this week, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to hit. I know my drives were my issue, so I know I'm just going to hit driver. Like, let me just get a good feel for it, and then I'll start worrying about where it is. So like it's less frustrating that way, because get yourself in the rhythm, get yourself you're swinging correctly, not just getting pissed off after every shot because you're not hitting it, and you know going into it you're not going to be hitting it to the target you're wanting to. Holy! I saw another good video, and I tried to find it again to send over, but I couldn't. But it was Bryson was talking about certain dimples on the ball that he likes to hit first with his putter. So
really?
He looks at the ball and marks exactly which. I think he had like 3 dimples that he wants to hit first with the putter.
Because of how it comes off the face?
Yeah, how it hits how it hops off the face, and then how it rolls off the face too.
Reggie, you got anything to add to
nerd shit? Sorry, but still the funny stuff of Bryson that is entertaining, and it's like informative. I don't know if I'm ever going to worry about which dimple I'm hitting on a golf ball, but to see somebody actually do it is pretty interesting.
It's fun getting inside of guys like that's brains and knowing what they're thinking about every day. Okay, I added the Lee Trevino video there to the description there. So if anybody wants to go back and watch that a couple times, it's in the show notes here for you. Reggie, any comments on that? Anything you picked up watching that?
Yeah, probably the ball placement. I kind of get away from that because you honestly think if you're hitting it low, then you got to put it to the front of your stance to hit it higher, but you're actually hitting it low because you're thinning it. Yeah, a lot of when I've been struggling and when I it's crazy. Like when I've been struggling, it is exactly that. It's the ball's too far forward and I'm coming up out of it and thinning everything.
And he said that during that he said that it's gonna feel like you're aimed way, for me and you, Reggie. It feels like we're aimed way too far left, but it's not.
I know, it's so crazy. It's a hard adjustment.
It is.
But
yeah, like that's when you guys are slicing it and I'm hooking it, right?
Yeah, like Drummy, you're kind of already aimed out to the right because you draw it, so it probably wouldn't feel. I'd be interested to know how that kind of tip would have impacted your swing and how you could like put that. But do you do that with your irons too? Like aim that far right?
Not as far as with my driver, but I do aim right. But for the majority of my irons, basically from my 7 down, I'll stay in the middle of my stance and just open my stance up as I get lower. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, I never really have.
That's
I've
good
never
or
really
bad.
had the ball in the middle of my stance.
Never?
But I've been working on it lately. It's working a lot better. I didn't top any yesterday, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, you're hitting them all yesterday, Reggie. It's good to see.
Yeah, men's night on Tuesday I was 34, 44, I think, or 45. 79. No, I was 80, so I was 46. I would have been 34, 46. Full disclosure.
That's the most Gilbert scorecard ever.
Yeah. I just got to the back and a double 10 and then double 11 and then that's it.
That was the end.
No coming back.
Okay, boys. Well, we're just under an hour here. Another perfectly timed episode today. Somehow we made it through. We need to get some sleep here.
Yeah.
But next weekend we got the U.S. Open, so I think we're probably going to do another pool, Sats pool. So it's about $20, $25 worth of Bitcoin. You send it in, the winner gets paid out in Bitcoin. It's a lot of fun. I think we had 17 for the Masters and 15 for the last one for the PGA. So if you're interested, reach out to us, find a way to get a hold of us. There are many ways to do it. It's pick 4 guys. It just makes it a little bit funner to watch through the weekend. I know there's a lot of golf pools out there, but if you're a Bitcoiner and you want to get in on the golf action and pick a team, it'll be a good weekend. So take us out of here, Drummy, I think, unless you guys got anything else to add, but I'm done.
Yeah, me too.
What do you guys got for the finals? Edmonton or Florida?
I'm going to Edmonton.
I want Edmonton to win too.
I want Connor to win. That's all I'm cheering for.
Yeah. I'd be happy with both. Like, I like the Panthers too. I'm a really big Paul Maurice fan.
Yeah.
So I'm happy either way, but I'd like to see the Oilers pulling off.
I'd love to see Paul Maurice in the behind the scenes thing. His interviews are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so well spoken, eh? Holy.
Such a good one. Okay, we're out of here for this week. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We're out of here. We shall see you next Sunday. Peace out, boys. Love you. Later.
See you guys.
Love you, boys.